Here's a timeline of Luke Skywalker's Star Wars adventures. Cleveland, Ohio. Before heading out to see Star Wars: The Last Jedi, get reacquainted with the life of Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. From the character's creation to his on-screen adventures. And check out the interactive timeline at the end of the story. On the page. 1944, Star Wars creator George Walton Lucas Jr. is born in Modesto, California. 1971, Lucas, now a young director, asks about buying the film rights to Flash Gordon. When he learns that they were not available, he tells friend and fellow filmmaker Francis Ford Coppola, "I'll just invent my own." 1974, an early draft of what would become the screenplay for Star Wars includes a General Luke Skywalker, who trains Anakin Starkiller as a Jedi. 1975, the second draft of screenplay, titled Adventures of the Starkiller, Episode 1, The Star Wars, has an 18-year-old hero Luke Starkiller. He's already a Jedi Knight, but isn't interested in fighting. 1976, while shooting Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope in Tunisia, Lucas changes the character's name from Luke Starkiller to Luke Skywalker. On the screen. Birth and early childhood. Luke Skywalker and his twin sister, Leia Organa, are the offspring of Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and Senator Padme Amidala. Their mother died during labor, and Luke and Leia were separated. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope 1977, Luke is living with his aunt and uncle on their moisture farm on Tatooine. He learns his true identity from Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, joins the Rebel Alliance and fights alongside Han Solo and Princess Leia Organa against Darth Vader, formerly Anakin Skywalker, and the Galactic Empire he serves. Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back 1980. Luke asks Jedi Master Yoda to train him in the ways of the Force, but Luke leaves his training before it's complete to rescue his friends. Luke also learns his twin sister is Princess Leia Organa. During a climactic fight, Darth Vader reveals that he is Luke's father. Vader tries to persuade Luke to join him in using the dark side of the Force, and cuts off Luke's hand in a lightsaber duel. Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi 1983, Emperor Palpatine tries to convert Luke to the dark side of the Force, but is unsuccessful. Luke appeals to Darth Vader's humanity, and Vader turns on Palpatine. Vader dies, and Luke respectfully burns his remains on a funeral pyre. 30-year gap. Luke's nephew and apprentice, Ben Solo, turns to the dark side. Taking the name Kylo Ren, he kills all of the trainees in Luke's Jedi Academy. Feeling responsible for the disaster, Luke goes on a solitary journey to find an ancient Jedi temple. Star Wars: The Force Awakens 2015, Rey finds Luke in exile on the island of Ahch-To and returns his lightsaber to him. Early praise for The Last Jedi after elaborate premiere. An elaborate premiere featuring a massive assault vehicle and a procession of stormtroopers and droids preceded the first showing of Star Wars: The Last Jedi. And initial reactions praised the latest installment of the beloved space opera franchise. There were cheers, gasps, droid photo opportunities, casino games and more than a few standing ovations at the jam-packed world premiere of Star Wars: The Last Jedi Saturday night in Los Angeles, which many are already praising online. Rian Johnson, the writer and director of the 8th installment of the franchise, dedicated the night to the late Carrie Fisher, who died after filming had completed. "She's up there flipping the bird and saying, 'Don't bring this night down with solemn tributes,'" Johnson said on stage at the Shrine Auditorium. It was in that spirit that Johnson excitedly introduced his cast, including Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac. Hamill and composer John Williams, who Johnson called one of the greatest living film composers, were among the few who got standing ovations. "Let's watch a Star Wars movie," Johnson exclaimed as the cast took their seats. The lights dimmed, and the yellow Star Wars logo, an iconic scroll, appeared on screen to signal the start of the film. The enthusiastic audience laughed and cheered throughout much of the 2 and a half-hour film. One audience member even shrieked "what" at a key scene deep in the film. The elaborate premiere featured a massive assault vehicle and a procession of stormtroopers and droids that preceded the first showing of the film in advance of its December 15 release. The mood was joyous and pregnant with anticipation for the highly anticipated and guarded film, which sees the return of Hamill's Luke Skywalker as well as Fisher's final performance. Formal reviews won't be out for a few days, but journalists and others at the screening who shared their initial reactions online said The Last Jedi packed the adventure expected in a Star Wars film, but took it into new territory. J.J. Abrams, who directed 2015 Star Wars: The Force Awakens and will return to direct Episode 9, told the Associated Press that the film was great and that Rian killed it. Logan director James Mangold also praised the film's director, calling the movie a great chapter of a blockbuster franchise that also had Johnson's voice shining through. Producer Adam F. Goldberg wrote that the film made him feel like a kid again. Entertainment Weekly's Anthony Bresnikan said the film will shatter you and then make you feel whole again. Many who posted online about the premiere said they were still processing the film. Attendees at Saturday's premiere were the first people outside the cast, filmmakers and top executives at Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm who had seen The Last Jedi. Director Edgar Wright, Patton Oswalt, Greta Gerwig, Stranger Things actor Gaten Matarazzo, and Constance Zimmer were among the attendees Saturday. Wright, who makes a cameo appearance in the film as a rebel, added on Twitter that the film was really great. At the after-party, which was modeled after Canto Bight, a casino-based city in the Star Wars galaxy seen in The Last Jedi, attendees could play blackjack, roulette and craps to win commemorative Star Wars pins. Fans at the premiere were also treated to up-close looks at new characters, including an elite squad of guards clad in red armor as well as a collection of droids, including the droids C-3PO, R2, D2, and BB-8, who walked and rolled down the red carpet before the film stars arrived. "It's a Star Wars movie, and the energy tonight is pretty amazing," said a beaming Andy Serkis, who plays the villain's supreme leader Snoke. Ridley, who plays Rey, arrived wearing a shimmering dress adorned with stars. Ridley was in good spirits, saying about her dress, "I mean, it's just fun. It's fun. And I feel fun. And it's got stars on it." Newcomer Kelly Marie Tran wore a bright red dress with a lengthy train behind it. John Boyega, who earlier in the day tweeted that he might miss the premiere because a snowstorm had snarled travel out of Atlanta, arrived sporting a dark blue tuxedo and turtleneck. Secrecy about the film remained in place on the red carpet. Anthony Daniels, who plays C-3PO, told a reporter looking for details on the film, "I'm going to let you work out everything for yourself." The Last Jedi, which arrives in theaters on December 15, is one of the year's biggest releases. Early box office projections are for the film to debut in the $200 million range for its first weekend. Star Wars: The Last Jedi rates dominate in first Twitter reactions. Writer, director Rian Johnson publicly unveiled Star Wars: The Last Jedi Saturday night at the Gala World premiere at Los Angeles' Shrine Auditorium. So how did the wildly anticipated latest saga in the franchise go down once the applause stopped and the theater lights came up? There is an official review embargo until December 12 at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before The Last Jedi opens December 15. But journalists and critics weighed in with initial thoughts on Twitter. Logan director James Mangold enjoyed his friend Johnson's work, saying, "Yes, a great chapter of a blockbuster franchise, spectacular and unpredictable, but also his own voice shining through." Kudos, Eric Davis, managing editor of the ticket sale website Fandango.com, led the raves for fellow journalists. The Hollywood Reporter's Aaron Couch was one of the many journalists to focus on the return of Mark Hamill's return as Luke Skywalker. Entertainment Weekly's Anthony Bresnikan paid tribute to Carrie Fisher, who gave her last performance as General Leia. Fisher died in December 2016 after filming her Last Jedi role. USA Today's Carly Mullenbaum also chimed in, saying she's still processing the insane action sequences from the film.